So how good is Tulsa? They were picked, what, 5th or something in the league, and here they are 1st?
Well, they're a team that's has experience, been in the NCAA tournament. I mean, they had a good year, last year, when Manning was there coaching them. So it's not like they got an inexperienced team with a new coach and all that. They got a veteran coach, they got veteran guys, and they got they're all juniors. So they got speed. They got a guy who can really shoot, and they got 2 athletic big guys. They got to make this a good team.
Why were they picked so low, do you think?
Well, I think people just
didn't know about them.
Didn't know enough about them, and early on they struggled a little bit, and then they got going. But they were picked obviously 5th before the season started. But that just shows you what the what the polls and all that's worth. I mean, people have an indication, but you don't really know, particularly with a new team coming into a league and that kind of stuff. There's no way, that writers or coaches or anybody would have known necessarily, because you just didn't see them play enough. How good their players were.
You won 3 games in a row, but against not the greatest competition. I think you'd have to admit this is a step up a little bit here. This is going to be tough.
No question. It's going to be, in some ways the toughest game of the year. We got to go to Tulsa, who's playing well, and we got to win. There's just the bottom line. You got to go win.
And they feel the same way. I'm sure they need a signature win to get in the tournament.
I'm sure they do too. They're playing for a chance to win the league too. If they beat us and then they turn around and beat SMU, then they win the league. So they got a lot riding on this game.
There are 3 guys on the perimeter. What kind of problems do they present? Because you've got a guy that can get to the rim, a guy that can shoot, and a good passer as well.
Well, Woodard can really shoot. If you let him get him off, get enough of them off, he's going to make a bunch. And you got an elite driver, a guy who can really drive the ball. And then the little guy, he's shooting the ball better now, and he can get by as well. So, they're a team. They're big guys. Get baskets because of those 3 guys. They get baskets on dump-offs. They get baskets on scrambles because they break you down. Now they're getting to the glass, and they're not a traditional great post-up team by any means. But those 3 perimeter guys not only get themselves buckets, they get big guys buckets because, again, they get you in a scramble, then they get to the offensive glass. They get dump-offs when you go to help, and so the 3 perimeter guys are the problem.
Is there anything you can take from the Memphis tape? Because they're a really strong offensive rebounding team, but I don't think Tulsa got a second chance point until the last minute or so of regulation against Memphis. Is there anything in watching that you could kind of see how Memphis was effective keeping them off the glass?
Memphis blocked out, and Memphis went to the glass. At this point in the season, it's all about will. Again, Tulane's not a great team, but our effort and will to block them out and not to accept blockouts from them was totally different than the first time around. If we'd have done that the first time around, even though we didn't make shots, we'd have still won the game. And this game, we made shots and we gave the effort to get to the glass and not let them get to the glass. So we won easy. And this game's going to come down to one of the big keys is going to be who wins the battle of the boards. If we get to the offensive glass on them and don't let them get there, that'll be a huge factor in the game.
Taking care of the ball, you guys have done a much better job of late. Is that just guys starting to settle in and grasp what you've been telling them on the offensive end, or is there any?
Well, I think our guys have, because we've harped on it so much, they've made a concerted effort to themselves try not to do things that they can't do, try not to force the issue, just relax and play. At this point in the season, we're pretty familiar with our offense and we're settled into the things we're running, and so guys, they know what to look for better. Now the decision process is speeded up for them. The game slowed down. Their decision process. I'm looking for these things as opposed to what's next. Here's the series. Kind of like the quarterback. You drop back. You got your primary, but quickly. If that's covered, I got to check, and that's starting to help our guys. It's starting to happen for our guys.
Anything different against Tulsa because they are so active in the passing lanes and looking to be aggressive and get steals?
Well, you got to take the ball. You got to make sure on the passes. You're going to have to be tough with the ball when you catch it. You can't let them deflect in that. had to come meet every pass. And, you're just going to have to be conscious of how they try to shoot gaps and steal the ball and do the things they do.
How important for Troy and Farad to recognize they change defenses a lot, for early recognition up the floor to figure out what they're in and get you guys into what you need to get in?
Well, more important than that is to get the ball up the floor as fast as we can get it up the floor and play against that defense. Don't let them set in the zone, let them set in the man. If we do that, we'll be fine. In the half court, yeah, I mean, we got to know what they're in, but, you know, we got to throw the ball inside. Throw the ball inside, no matter what they're in. And that's been our formula all year. It's not just Tulsa. It's the games we played the best in, and we've thrown the ball inside and played inside. But as of late, the best thing we've been doing is we've been putting the ball up the floor a little quicker and not playing as much set defense.
Larry, knowing this is kind of a unique situation, all goes well, this would be, you know, Mick will be back in his position next season. For you coming down the stretch of this last month, is there any certain sort of goals or anything you want to make sure that a level you take this program to?
That we beat Tulsa on Wednesday. That's all I'm worried about. That's it. Nothing else. I ain't worried about all that. Beat Tulsa on Wednesday. Everything else takes care of itself. Beat Tulsa on Wednesday. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
You talk about the one-game win streaks a lot. How have you been able to implement that in these guys? Because obviously that's what everyone talks about when it gets to March. How do you keep these guys focused on what's right in front of them?
Well, I mean, unless they're blind right now, I mean, they watch TV, they watch ESPN, they know the importance of this game. I mean, unless you shut yourself out of the world, how can you help? And, you know, we put ourselves in this position by not being focused in a couple games that we should have won. And now we're in a situation, it's a one-game tournament for us. We need to go to Tulsa and win. And so, you know, every day I remind them, before practice, during practice, after practice, every text we send them, everything we do is to remind them, hey, look, nothing else, don't worry about the conference tournament. Don't worry about Memphis on Saturday. Worry about beating Tulsa. Next game, that is all. If you take care of that, then you can advance to the next step. But if you don't take care of that, nothing else matters after that. So we got to focus in on that, do our job, and be ready to do that.
I think we see what happens on the court, away from the court. Has anyone really stepped up recently during this three-game win streak since Xavier and kind of taken the reins on being the vocal leader here?
Well, I mean, you know, Jermaine Sanders, he's not necessarily playing his best basketball right now, but the kid cares so much. His teammates see that, and he's been trying to be, you know, the vocal leader in the locker room in practice. We've got, you know, several other guys that are in practice being much more vocal. I mean, I was very encouraged in that late in the Tulane game. You know, a couple guys said in the huddle, hey, don't let these guys score 50. Don't let them get 50 on us. The game was over. We didn't win the game. But they had enough pride, and they know, they had enough sense about them to recognize, look, we can kind of slop through the end of this and you know, we'll win. Or, look, let's have some pride. Let's don't let them, try not to let them get to 50. Let's dig in. Let's keep playing. And that's a good sign for your team. Those are the kind of things you want said in the huddle by the players. You know, particularly in a game like that, because in a game like that, the game with about 5 minutes to go was really pretty much over. But you know, those things were said in the huddle, and that's encouraging. Several different guys.
Anything else?